Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Let's begin with the headlines. Governor Fubara, deputy, others resume as emergency rule ends. UNICEF pledges support in actualizing programs of President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. And Nigeria shares perspective on regional and international security, explores avenues for defense cooperation. All right, we begin in Rivers State with the lifting of the emergency rule. Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy Governor Ngozi Nma-Odu, and members of the State House of Assembly, led by Speaker Martin Zamewule, are resuming full duties today. And joining us now live from Port Harcourt is Robinson Darate-Day to bring us up to speed with the situation there. Hello, Robinson. Can you tell us what is the atmosphere like there now that the governor is resuming?
Port Harcourt is like a carnival or a Christmas today because the crowd that has besieged the government house is far beyond expectation. As I speak to you, no, to even penetrate the crowd into the government house is an issue. Everybody is excited. Everybody is happy that finally democratic governance has returned to Port Harcourt and that peace has finally returned to the state of Rivers State. They are still awaiting the arrival of the governor, but from the signals we are getting is that the governor is still overseas and it may take some time before he will arrive. But we heard that some people are at the airport waiting for him. Hopefully he may arrive today or maybe tomorrow, but Rivers people are waiting, celebrating and excited that democratic governance has returned.
All right, Robinson, you certainly have a busy day ahead of you, and we'll be coming back to you, obviously, as things unfold there in Port Harcourt. Thank you. Well, earlier, the sole administrator of Rivers State, Rear Admiral Ibok Ete-Ibas, said the mandate given him was being accomplished. He stated this in a state broadcast to conclude the emergency rule imposed by President Bola Tinubu. Rear Admiral Ibok Ete-Ibas said law and order has been restored while local government elections were conducted successfully. He said Rivers State requires vigilance, sacrifice and leadership anchored on truth.
Of this season is that the exercise of power without restraint can cripple institutions, and rivalry without dialogue clearly endangers democracy. Let this chapter therefore stand as a permanent reminder that the health of our polity depends not on who wins or loses, but on how political actors manage their differences and on the strength of the institutions we preserve and the unity we nurture.
Now, United Nations Children's Funds, UNICEF, has pledged to continue support and partnership in actualizing some programs of President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. Vice President Kashim Shettima described the move as a step in the right direction, noting that the president has redefined the concept of modern leadership in Nigeria. The vice president stated this when he received a delegation from UNICEF Nigeria led by the country representative Wafa Said Abdulatif on a courtesy visit to the presidential villa. Commenting on the administration's vigor in pursuing legacy projects in health, nutrition, human capital development and related fields, the vice president said the government is committed to working with UNICEF and other developments to advance some of the laudable initiatives such as Nutrition 774 Initiative, Economic and Financial Inclusion and the Nutrition Intervention Fund, among others. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that the UNICEF country representative Wafa Saeed Abdulatif commended some of the administration's interventions in nutrition, economic and financial inclusion, noting that the government's vision is clear and the mission is realizable. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says Nigeria must treat Lagos as a pivotal leverage to unlock its full potential and secure a place among the world's powers by 2030. The governor spoke at the first Distinguished Lecture of 2025 organized by the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos. Joyken Abakoya reports.
Delivering a lecture titled Lagos and Nigeria 2030, Projections of a World Power, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu linked Lagos's 30-year development plan to President Bola Tinubu's $1 trillion economic vision, describing the state as Nigeria's innovation and policy laboratory where key reforms are piloted for national adoption. He highlighted the development plan's 4 priorities: a strong economy, modern infrastructure, a people-focused city, and effective governance as pathways to transforming Lagos into Africa's model megacity and a global hub.
Under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, we are resetting the very foundation of our economy through policy, legislation, and diplomacy. As the march towards 2030 progresses, we must keep our eyes on the goal, mobilizing every energy, resource, and partnership, redoubling our efforts to ensure that the bold ambition of 2030 do not slip away.
The Director General of the Nigeria Institute of International Affairs, Professor Egosa Osagai, described Lagos as Africa's growth center and announced plans for a new Babajide Sanwo-Olu School of International Affairs at the Institute.
We have defined the agenda for the world. The world is changing, as you all know, and Lagos has the anchor to drive Nigeria to take its rightful place in the evolving world that we are getting into.
We need everyone to join hands with his leadership. In joining hands with him, we are making sure that we win the race of the projections of a world power. The foundations are there. The developments are clear. The rules are in our favor.
The lecture attracted diplomats, captains of industry, and civil society leaders who commended Lagos for maintaining security, driving innovation, and fostering international relevance. In Lagos, Joyken Abakoya, NTA News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has conducted a public fair in Kano State to educate Nigerians on ways to achieve price stability in the domestic markets as part of steps to promote economic growth and financial inclusion. Awal Salisu reports that the event focused on the use of alternate payment channels to support small and medium enterprises.
The public fair in Kano, organized by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, serves as a platform designed to bring the bank closer to the people and shed light on policies driving Nigeria's economic growth. With the theme driving alternative payment channels as tool for financial inclusion, growth and accelerated economic development, the event focused on how digital innovations are transforming the financial landscape, especially for small and medium enterprises.
The core objective of this engagement, therefore, is to sensitize members of the public on the bank policies that enhance their lives and livelihood and contribute to the growth and development of the Nigerian economy.
The CBN also introduced the Unified Complaints Tracking System and a USSD code for verifying licensed institutions, reinforcing consumer protection and transparency.
The CBN policy geotagging creates a situation whereby from each location you can tell where money is being transferred, which is a measure in which you can curb fraud, ensure transparency, and give that confidence to people that are transferring money.
Each and every customer should be given the right of equality, irrespective of the amount of money or the transaction you make.
Participants were encouraged to rely on official CBN platforms for accurate information and to respect the Naira as a symbol of national pride. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
To fast-track compressed natural gas infrastructure developments in line with President Bola Tinubu's initiative on CNG, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has convened a stakeholders engagement to sensitize industry players on auto-compressed natural gas license requirements and procedures. Details with Lydia Sampson.
Across the country, Nigerians are embracing CNG as an alternative fuel, evident in the growing number of motorists converting their vehicles and the long queues at CNG stations. Demand has now outspaced supply. This stakeholder engagement was designed to demystify licensing processes, ensure seamless implementation, and strengthen regulatory compliance to attract more investment across the CNG value chain.
Is to bridge the gap between the authority, that's the regulator, and the applicant as it concerns the operations of CNG in Nigeria. And we organize this because we also keyed into Mr. President's initiative on CNG.
Key industry players at the event commended President Bola Tinubu's decisive push to accelerate CNG adoption nationwide.
I must thank the NMDPR for organizing this seminar because for those of us who have been intending to go into the business of CNG, we never realized that there's a lot to know about the business itself. And quite a number of us, some consultants will come, they will tell you very nice things so that you can pay them commissions. But now, coming here, we have realized that there's a lot to do and we can be able to do a lot of these things ourselves. And then I must thank the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for introducing this issue of CNG.
This has created a very good atmosphere of collaboration, of cooperation, of knowledge sharing, and a feedback loop that is very important for the regulators, for PCNGI, for all stakeholders indeed to understand what are the common concerns, the lowest common multiples, the highest common denominators.
Speakers highlighted CNG's benefits from reducing fuel costs to cutting environmental pollution. Participants expressed readiness to work more closely with regulators to drive CNG uptake, aligning with Nigeria's energy diversification and cleaner fuel ambitions. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. More reports in a moment. Stay with us.
Wike hails President Tinubu for lifting Rivers emergency rule. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has hailed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for restoring democratic governance to Rivers State by lifting the emergency rule imposed on the state. The minister said the president has once again demonstrated his total commitment to peace and the sustenance of democracy in the country, and that his proactive action saved the state. In a statement on Wednesday issued by his senior special assistant on public communications and social media, Larry Olayinka, Wike said the president's intervention has further restored the confidence of the people of the state in his leadership. He commended the people of the state for their belief in the president and continued support for him in his tireless efforts to return the country to the path of progress and development. Wike called on all stakeholders in the state to work together harmoniously in the collective interest of the state and its people. The minister cautioned troublemakers, especially fifth columnists who are always seeking to benefit from crisis, to stay away from the state, adding that from Rivers State going forward, the only news that will emanate will be that of peace, progress, and development.
Feel the power of precision, engineered to perfection. Every component is crafted with care, and each design is meticulously tested. From concept to creation, our engineers push the boundaries of technology, seamlessly blending performance and sustainability with a deep commitment to African ingenuity. Introducing the CNG Bus, a remarkable achievement in engineering designed to operate on compressed natural gas, a cleaner and more sustainable fuel alternative. At Innocent Vehicles, we proudly lead the way in creating greener mobility across Africa. And it doesn't stop there. From SUVs to sedans, spacious buses to electric cars, Innocent offers a wide range of models designed to meet every need. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African roads.
Welcome back. Bayelsa State Governor Doye Diri says his administration will continue to strengthen partnerships with the European Union in peace building, youth empowerment, marine economy, and grassroots developments. Timi April here reports that this was when the governor received the EU ambassador to Nigeria, Gautier Minyo, in Yenagoa.
EU ambassador says since assumption of office, Nigeria has continued to meet expectations in partnership and cooperation. He explained that the EU's Global Gateway Strategy, launched in 2021, is already driving fresh investments and new opportunities across the country. That initiative, now in its final phase, has been extended by 6 months to guarantee its success.
16 communities in total in Bayelsa State, more than 5,000 people directly beneficiary of this project over the 3 states, and of course much more indirectly, and with 66 livelihood projects which have been proposed by communities, like this cassava processing center that was commissioned this morning in Sampu community. And for us, it's very important to hear what our partners have to say.
Governor Doye Diri described the state's relationship with the Union as cordial and impactful. He praised the EU's grassroots approach to development, contrasting it with past foreign interventions that were exploitative. The governor noted Bayelsa's pioneering role as the only state in Nigeria with a Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, stressing the importance of reviving fishing and agriculture, which have been affected by oil pollution.
Agricultural produce that we see from our rural communities will have a lesser period to arrive in the city. And again, the wastage, that is associated with the lack of transportation and all that will be gone. So this government has tried to open up our rural communities by ensuring that we construct roads to the hinterland of our state. And so much is still being expected of us.
The governor assured the European Union envoy that Bayelsa State will remain a willing partner in initiatives such as the Global Gateway project, adding that the state is eager to sustain peace and accelerate development through stronger collaboration. Timinopri, Ohia, NTA News.
In other news, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, has declared open the second quarter of the 2025 meeting of the Forum of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Secretaries to the Governments of States in Jos Plateau State. The meeting, which is the second since the inception of the present administration, was designed to strengthen governance structures and harmonize policies across national and subnational levels, with the theme understanding the dynamics in the roles and functions of secretaries to the government of states. The SGF described the office of the SGF and SSGs as the engine room of government's operations, whose responsibilities span policy coordination, cabinet affairs management, intergovernmental and interministerial coordination, institutional memory, and continuity in advisory roles. Plateau State Governor Caleb Muftwang noted that Nigeria is at a stage where all stakeholders must work together to deliver good governance to the people and collaborate with the initiatives of the federal government for the benefits of the nation. The conversation at this year's joint scientific conference of the Nigerian Cardiac Society and the Pan-African Society of Cardiology, holding in Abuja, is seeking cost-effective interventions for mitigating the burden of managing cardiovascular diseases in Africa. Tokpe Alabi reports that one of the highlights was a basic life support instructor program designed to equip health workers and other citizens with life-saving cardiopulmonary resuscitation skills.
In 2015, the United Nations set targets to reduce premature cardiovascular disease deaths by 33% by 2030, as out of 17 million premature deaths under the age of 70 due to non-communicable diseases in 2015, 82% are in low and middle-income countries, and 37% are caused by cardiovascular diseases.
To provide feedback to the participating sites.
While most cardiovascular diseases can be prevented by addressing behavioral risk factors, including tobacco use, unhealthy diet and obesity, physical inactivity, and harmful use of alcohol using population-wide strategies. Cardiologists believe preventing diabetes and hypertension can also reduce the need for expensive interventions, especially with new data showing that about 4 in 10 Nigerian adults are hypertensive.
People should stop smoking, stop drinking, should walk a bit more, watch what they eat. We're getting bigger, we're adopting all the foreign lifestyle, drinking all the sugary drinks and everything, even from childhood.
It is very important to understand what treatment is available, what's applied, and what can be optimized.
The idea of the polypill is that you combine all these necessary medicines in one tablet, and therefore the patient just takes one tablet, hopefully once a day, and that leads to less confusion, better adherence.
Associated with this is also a lot of cases of sudden death. So as a society, we are really worried about this. We are conducting research. We are providing public health interventions to address some of these challenges.
While Nigeria and Africa are facing increasing cardiovascular diseases, bringing together these experts is expected to address the challenge and impact meaningfully to reduce cardiovascular disease with increased awareness and early detection. In Abuja, Tokpe Alabi, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Here is a recap of our top stories. Governor Fuba, deputy, others resume as emergency rule ends. UNICEF pledges support in actualizing programs of President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. Nigeria shares perspective on regional and international security, explores avenues for defense cooperation.
Wike hails President Tinubu for lifting Rivers emergency rule. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has hailed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for restoring democratic governance to Rivers State by lifting the emergency rule imposed on the state. The minister said the president has once again demonstrated his total commitment to peace and the sustenance of democracy in the country, and that his proactive action saved the state. In a statement on Wednesday issued by his senior special assistant on public communications and social media, Larry Olayinka, Wike said the president's intervention has further restored the confidence of the people of the state in his leadership. He commended the people of the state for their belief in the president and continued support for him in his tireless efforts to return the country to the path of progress and development. Wike called on all stakeholders in the state to work together harmoniously in the collective interest of the state and its people. The minister cautioned troublemakers, especially fifth columnists who are always seeking to benefit from crisis, to stay away from the state, adding that from Rivers State going forward, the only news that will emanate will be that of peace, progress, and development.
This is NTA News 24.
Minister of Defense Mohamed Badr Abubakar is attending the 12th Beijing Xiangshan Forum, where he is expected to engage with his counterparts from other countries, explore avenues for defense cooperation, share Nigeria's perspective on regional and international security. With the theme upholding international order and promoting peaceful developments, Nigeria's participation underlines its commitment to multilateral engagements on defense and security issues, particularly in an era of evolving global threats. The forum, which is jointly hosted by the China Association for Military Science and the China Institute for International Strategic Studies, has become a crucial avenue for fostering trust, dialogue, and practical cooperation among defense policymakers and military experts worldwide. And that concludes the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.